This is the journey to one Africa.
Royal Highness, I now invite His Excellency Slamba Tsohwane, Vice President of the Republic of Botswana.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, allow me to recognize His Excellency Mr. Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, President of the Republic of South Africa and Chair of Brics, and his deputy. Allow me, equally important, to observe that the Brics leaders have already been recognized. Allow me to deem protocol as observed. Mr. Chairman, I would like to thank the Brics Summit host, President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa of the Republic of South Africa, to have invited His Excellency Dr. Mokgweetsi Eric Masisi, the President of the Republic of Botswana, to participate in Brics Africa Outreach and Brics Plus Dialogues under the theme Brics and Africa, Partnership for Mutually Accelerated Growth, Sustainable Development and Inclusive Multilateralism. Unfortunately, due to other pressing commitments, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Botswana, who would have loved to be here, is unable to be here today. His Excellency has delegated me to represent him. Today's theme is apt because it acknowledges and recognizes the important role the Brics plays in promoting strategic partnerships that spur accelerated growth and sustainable development and inclusive multilateralism, particularly for developing regions such as Africa. Excellencies, it is worrisome that economic growth on the African continent remains sluggish, dragged down by a series of severe and mutually reinforcing shocks, including COVID-19 pandemic, climate change, surging inflation, and low investment growth, food and energy crisis, to mention but a few. Excellencies, despite being hit by a confluence of shocks, African economies remain resilient. However, there is need to accelerate growth by, among others, scaling up energy investments. 2, increasing the employability of workers as well as the productivity of enterprises through skills development. 3, enhancing digital cooperation and developing dynamic innovation ecosystems. 4, partnering with countries of Global South in creating mechanisms for intellectual property protection and commercialization. 5, strengthening participation in manufacturing global value chains through increasing value-added exports and promoting innovation. And 6, lastly, broadening and diversifying financial products. Mr. Chairman, recognizing that Brics economies represent a significant share of both global trade and world GDP, there is an opportunity to enhance economic cooperation and open new opportunities, boost economic exports and attract foreign investment to the African continent. Excellencies, the Sustainable Development Goals report of 2023 illustrates that halfway to the deadline of 2030 agenda, we are leaving more than half of the world behind, casting doubt of the likelihood of realizing sustainable development goals. On that note, Mr. Chairman, I must recognize milestones by different countries. They demonstrate pockets of successes. In that note, Mr. Speaker, in the context of the health target of the Global Sustainable Development Goal, Botswana has achieved a milestone under what is regarded as 95-95-95. We are able, or we have been able to achieve 95-98-98. This is what raises hope, Mr. Chairman. Within the African Union, we are gearing up into second 10-year implementation plan of Agenda 2063, whose goals and targets have a 70% inherent interconnections with those of Agenda 2030. Excellencies, about half of the Agenda 2030 targets are off track. Then inevitably, Africa's Agenda 2063 is also in peril. Like Agenda 2063, Mr. Chairman, there exists an SDG financing gap that is exacerbated by climate change and conflict on the African continent. Clearly, reforms of the global finance system and more targeted financing solutions are needed to get back on track to meet the global goals. The Brics New Development Bank stands to make a meaningful impact in providing valuable resources to help fill the massive gap in investment and infrastructure and sustainable development in developing countries. Excellencies, Botswana remains committed to a more equitable, inclusive, and effective international order. We are of the conviction that Africa ought to have an enhanced presence and voice at the table of global diplomacy. For us, this is a legitimate demand, as Africa is increasingly being recognized as a new center of power, as others already stated today. Today's dialogues are a perfect platform to continue efforts towards a more representative, fairer, and balanced international order. Excellencies, we note with keen interest the BRICS leaders' ongoing discussions on BRICS expansion, underscoring the growing significance of this bloc. We view the BRICS family as an important trade and development partners, sources of foreign direct investment, and champions of the interests of the global South. On trade, we are also following the BRICS leaders' discussions on the possibility to use local currencies in trading. Under the African Continental Free Trade Area, a Pan-African payment and settlement system has been launched in 2022 that enables the efficient flow of money across African borders, bringing about financial integration. We believe that this payment system will shape the ebb and flow of not only intra-Africa trade, but also trade with countries of the global South and the rest of the world. As previous speakers have clearly stated, partnerships in a bedrock of the BRICS since its founding. In this respect, I commend the BRICS country to promoting inclusivity and engagement with our beloved continent of Africa through the BRICS Africa Outreach and BRICS Plus dialogue. Before I conclude, Mr. Chairman, I would like, Mr. Chairman, because of other pressing commitments, to seek leave immediately as I have concluded. I thank you very much for your attention and your endurance for a long day. Thank you very much.